Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Abby Rappaport. I'm the publisher and co-founder of Stranger's Guide. We're an award-winning publication that commissions stories from local writers and photographers to build authentic portraits of place, from Scandinavia and Tehran to Colombia and Lagos. Learn more about what we do at strangersguide.com. But today, I'm very excited to introduce our extraordinary panel. Shira Lazar is the founder and CEO of the Emmy-nominated digital brand What's Trending. In October 2018, she became the host of the afternoon drive show Let's Go There, weekdays on the first national LGBTQ music talk station, Channel Q. Shira is a Web3 advocate and has been named one of Fast Company's most influential women in technology. Phelan Fatemi is CEO and co-founder of Fireside. Fireside is building the future of creator-led entertainment. Fallon was previously Google's youngest employee and is a Fortune 40 under 40 technology winner. Craig Kilburn is American comedian. You can hear it from behind. Craig Kilburn is an American comedian, sports and political commentator, actor, and television host. He began his career in sports broadcasting in the late 1980s, leading the anchoring position at ESPN SportsCenter, and he was later the first host of The Daily Show and succeeded Tom Snyder in hosting CBS's The Late Late Show. And he wanted to let you know that you can find him on his iconic Instagram channel. And finally, Mark Cuban had a very long biography that I was going to read, and then he crossed the whole thing out. And you might note that he is the co-founder of Fireside, Cost Plus Drugs, and an entrepreneur. So with that, please join me in introducing our panel.
Come on, yeah! Oh my God, you're in for a treat. Thank you so much. Again, you could ask us questions live. We'll be bringing them up here, but right now, let's get right into it. First, how does someone come together to launch a company with Mark Cuban? Like, what did that pitch look like? Because I know Mark invests in a lot of companies, but to co-found something, it had to be something big.
So actually, Mark, you and I met, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
At South by.
Yeah.
And we worked on a number of projects together. And once I had the idea for Fireside and brought it to Mark, given his experience with broadcast.com, having put streaming on the internet, it was a no-brainer to do this together, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Well,
What
why
she
this?
I just listen. She does the talking. That's the way it always should be, right?
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
No, I mean, obviously, the concept of what happens with podcasts and streamed entertainment has been very static for a long time. You know, podcasts have been around forever. They've just, become more popular over the last 5 years or so. Streaming, keeps on expanding in ways that make it seamless. But what's missing is participation. Right now, to participate in this for people online, we see text, right? There's no other real way to, for the entertainer, for the person creating the entertainment, to engage with the people online besides sitting there. It's like what you see on Twitch and YouTube. You see the stream of comments, and then you see the person looking, trying to read it fast enough, and then figuring out which ones to respond to. And that's just not the way to do it. And so with Fireside, when Fallon came to me, we saw an opportunity to create a multicast environment that was very participatory because the creators need more of that interaction.
And all of this also happened during the pandemic, which is like a really interesting time to launch a company as well. What is that like?
Launching a company during the pandemic, I mean, we're a remote company, like many companies that also launched during the pandemic. I would say it's also been incredible, given that this is a participatory entertainment platform, to see how creators are able to connect to their audiences virtually in a way that makes them feel like they're in the same room.
Yeah, so when you launch, you have had top creators, of course, like Craig Kilburn here.
Thank you.
There you go, yes. Others like Jay Leno, FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, Michael Dell, and the creator and cast of HBO's hit show Entourage. So I want to know, since you launched, how has the platform evolved and where is it now?
So Fireside's the first, like we said, participatory entertainment platform that gives professional creators a technology platform in analytics that's never really existed to create a next level production company or network that's Web3 and metaverse compatible. So really giving them the tools to build the entertainment media companies of the future in a way that also maintains ownership of IP, as well as their audience data. And since we unveiled in October, we are seeing two key trends. The first is creators are leveraging Fireside as a development tool. So because we streamline the ability to create, edit, distribute audio and video shows wherever audiences are, we are seeing that creators are spending less time on the creating process and more time on the creative, which is the core IP. And given the participatory nature of Fireside, where audiences can be part of the show or be the show, we are seeing creators invent entire new formats of entertainment that are groundbreaking. The second thing that we're seeing is creators are leveraging Fireside as a community tool, where they're basically trying to aggregate their fragmented fandoms that's everywhere right now into a central hub, co-create with them, create companion content, after shows to also increase the value of their existing library of content that they're already creating. And then we're seeing these really powerful network effects where audiences might come in, for a Jay Leno or a Craig Kilborn. They're not only going and discovering that content and consuming it, they're going and discovering 5 other creators and consuming their shows too. So, I mean, in terms of where this is going, we're going to continue to build out feature sets that enables Fireside to be a hub for all of a creator's IP, for their community, and we actually have a really exciting announcement coming tomorrow around how Fireside will enable communities of these creators to be a part of the creating process and production process like never before, leveraging Web3.
That is awesome. I'm excited for the announcement tomorrow.
Me too.
So, Craig, let's
Yes,
go
Craig.
to you. Yeah.
Quick Kilburn, everybody! Yeah.
Let me attempt to earn my appearance fee, okay?
How's South by treating you, by the way?
What's that?
How's South by Southwest treating you?
I love Austin. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
There's some French restaurants. I'm having a nice time. I have not seen my old friend Mark Cuban in over 20 years. He's lost 40 pounds. He's a vegan.
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian. I'm a carnivore. I don't need to lose 40 pounds. But I would not be here if the Dallas Mavericks had not won a championship, because they would have been 0-2 in the finals, and I don't associate with two-time losers. But congratulations. Congratulations on a championship. It's very difficult to win an NBA championship.
Thank you.
And you may not see another one, by the way.
Thanks a
But
lot.
it's tough.
I don't know. Luka Doncic says otherwise.
Right. And I want to work this year, one more. I want to work this year with Mark, because next year my Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be ahead of them in the standings.
Oh.
But I do enjoy the Fireside app. It is, I don't know how many, do the people out there know what's on it or
Well,
not?
download it, Fireside.
Yep,
Just in the App Store right now. Go check it out, navigate it, check out the shows.
Because I will eventually do a show on Fireside. I'm a little preoccupied again watching my Wolves ascend into the playoffs. But in a few months, I will do a show on Fireside. For those of you who don't know, the app has emojis that you can, interactive, where while you're watching the show, you can press an emoji and applaud or laugh. And my show is going to have unique emojis personalized just to my own show. They don't know this yet. I'm getting them copyrighted. I'll give you a couple of my emojis. One emoji, if I say something healing during my show, there's an emoji for If I say something profound, which I think I've already done a few times, there'll be an emoji for quiet reflection. And for those of you who have seen my Instagram, they call it my iconic Instagram, is what the other people are saying. It's I'm known as Lord Kilby. So during my show, there'll be an emoji for swooning. There's one more I'm working on. I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
Then I got to go.
Yeah, of course. We don't want to take too much of your
I want
time.
this emoji where I want the people, if they want to complain or whine, if they don't like what they're hearing, and I'm trying to get a certain sound, but I don't know how to approach the gentleman, but it's Mark Cuban whining at the NBA referees.
What? I would never do that.
You don't do that anymore, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
So, Craig, thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
by the way. I appreciate it.
Craig Kilborn!
This is like the live brainstorming you're seeing happen, product development.
Literally.
So you do have a podcast.
I'm starting it. All I have right now is the Instagram. I would never use the word lazy. I would say content, enigmatic. I eat a lot of cheese. I watch a lot of old movies, and I watch the NBA.
Okay, so of
That's my
course.
life.
So what will be your show on Fireside?
It's fluid. I'll have guests. I will say things that are profound. I will talk about eating pulled pork and ribeye steaks. No, I don't know. Seriously, when I saw Mark, you were never cherubic, but you were healthy, and you look great now.
So this is
I am
basically we're seeing a
complimenting.
tease of your show right now.
I am complimenting Mr. Cuban. He looks amazing. I mean, you should stand. Will you stand up for us one more time? Because when I saw you, it was 40 pounds loss. I mean, you look great.
Thank you.
So Craig
Yes,
also does amazing commentary on talking about the NBA as well.
NBA, movies.
Yeah, on
Is it like
Fireside.
bringing your late night show back, but to a platform like this?
I have there's some writer friends that I have. One of my writer friends is a guy named Alex Sulkin. He wrote the movie Ted. He works with Seth MacFarlane. He'll be on the show. He'll be a regular. And he tells me, and he encourages me with my Instagram, that there's something, problem solving, helping the young people, healthy lifestyle. One of the things I promote, and this sounds like a joke, but it's not. I only have one martini a week. One. And people
Okay.
think I'm boring, but I used to have more than one. And that's discipline. So drinking in moderation. That's important to me.
Totally.
You can laugh all you want, Mark.
So
I'm just remembering losing 40 pounds.
Yeah. So Mark and Fallon, how do you decide what creators you want to work with? Because it's not like other platforms maybe where can any creator just go on it? Is there a process?
Yeah, so Fireside is specifically for professional creators, which could be creators that are far enough along in their journey, they're emerging and they're really serious about growing a business. They could be, established or already have a production company, or they can be a rights holder that wants to leverage participatory entertainment to innovate on whole new formats where audiences get to be part of the show. So
It's fully curated.
yes.
If you're a corporation, and there are other options, right? So we will license the platform and you can create your own. So if you're a corporation and you want to do something for internals, because to Craig's point, I can't overestimate the importance of the interactivity and participation. Because how many people here have done a podcast, either created one or participated in one or listened to one? And so, when you're creating one, it's very one way, and you say something and you don't know how people are going to respond. But this is your business, right? So many podcasts have come and gone because it's hard to be a podcaster. It's hard to be a content creator, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, and without the initial feedback while you're doing it. Like here, Craig is talking about my not 40-pound weight loss, but in a panel, you get immediate feedback, and that changes the energy, and that changes the content itself. And historically, all these broadcasts are one way with some, lines of text comments in a Twitch or a YouTube or whatever. And so by having that interactivity, the whole dynamic of creating content changes. And what Fallon was referring to earlier, because that dynamic of content creation is changing, you're going to get new models. And to answer the question, we curate because it takes effort to do this, right? It's not the same old thing, but we also have a licensing program. So if you want to have your own enclosed community that you do your own thing outside of Fireside, there's an opportunity to do that as well.
And so when you say participatory, let's explain what that exactly means,
Sure.
because every type of platform is different.
So the technology that we've invented allows you to feel the audience virtually. So for example, as shows are being recorded live, you can hear the audience laugh, clap, react. They can come onto the virtual stage. Be
Or
part
you
of
can
the
create
show.
your own special emojis if you pay us enough.
Exactly.
As Craig
Right,
alluded to.
premium feature. And what that does is it basically not only informs the creators as to what they should say next, but it also allows the audience to be part of the content creation in a way that unlocks entire new formats of shows. So I'll give you an example. David Koechner, the comedian improv, also a big improv genius, him and Paul Valancourt are doing a show called Make a Show With Me. This is the first live improv crowdsourced series where the audience is the co-creator. So it's an 8-episode season. Every episode is seen in the show. They do improv exercises at the beginning. That sets the plot line for that episode. The audience can be a part of the walk-on cast. They're having special guests also be a part of it. And it's basically following a traditional storyline where there's a cliffhanger, a romance, someone dies. And it's all co-created with the audience as the writer's room in real time. Like, that's groundbreaking.
And it's audio and video.
It's audio and video. So we're medium agnostic, we're platform agnostic. We make it really easy because as a content creator, your business, your product lines are content. Those can be video, those can be audio. And we enable you to create and then multicast, simultaneously stream it to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, distribute the audio as a podcast in one tap. So just enable you to create and distribute and really focus on.
With control over the audience, because one of the challenges with audiences these days, not everybody's nice. You know, not everybody's on there for the right reason, or at least in the best interest of the creator.
Yeah.
And so we have the ability to control the audience. You literally have to apply to be part of the base audience like you would be in here. And then we'll have general admission, which is more open. But, you know, we've seen other platforms, whether it's audio or video, where the audience can destroy the platform, where they're, you know, the uncurated creators can just change the vibe of the platform, change the business model of the platform, make it more difficult. So we wanted really to have control of it and give more control to our creators. And to Fallon and to what Craig was saying as well, you will be able to create new forms of online entertainment. And that's what makes this really, really distinctive and interesting. And for me as an investment, because that participation is night and day. And what the other thing Fallon was alluding to, when you're streaming in video, you can multicast to multiple platforms. Yeah. So it's also a production facility so that right off of your phone, you could be going to Twitch, we're at YouTube.
Yep.
And
anywhere.
adding others as well. So just having full production capability, participation, control over your audience, that's what creators need to be fully creative and create new forms of entertainment. And that's one of the reasons we're up here and why we're so excited. And excited to have Craig as well.
I was going to say, I don't know if they know this, but when you do a show on Fireside, initially it's live. And in today's day and age, it's very exciting to do a live show because if you make a mistake or do an inappropriate joke, the internet gives you a big warm hug. And I'm kidding. It is it's a little
dangerous. Yeah.
It's a little dangerous doing a live show if you say something inappropriate.
Yeah.
So or just don't say inappropriate things.
I will be right. I will be taping my show.
Okay.
Yes.
So there are ways.
Well, you can edit. Let's put this another way. You don't have to go live.
Yes.
You can edit.
Okay, yeah, let's talk
exactly.
about what the data and tools that come out of Fireside as the app, because that's also what makes it different, whereas a lot of the apps you can go live on and you might not get a lot of data about your audience.
Yeah, so because it's participatory, we're able to provide back to all the creators on our platform an understanding of how audiences are reacting to their content as they're consuming it live. Which if you understand that, you can not just engineer the hits, you can kill off what's not working and ensure that what is super successful. So, you know, that kind of analytics just hasn't really been easy to get except through focus groups, and that's the real-time feedback that creators are getting every time they create and distribute. But I think really what we're all speaking about, we can get to some additional topics outside of just Fireside and kind of trends we're seeing longer term, is really we're removing the middleman in a lot of ways. And we're giving creators total control of their IP, direct relationship with their community, analytics to be able to not just, you know, create high quality content, but maintain that consistency and do it in a way where they can really invent whole new formats that then help them grow their businesses.
And what about monetization? That's a big thing that comes up for creators right now and on every type of platform. What are your thoughts on monetization in the creator economy right now?
So multiple monetization paths, creators choose what makes the most sense for them. They can embed ads in the content as they're distributing it out. They can do eventized, ticketed events. For instance, you have a lot of book launches on the platform, like you had a conversation with Michael Dell when he was launching his book on the platform as well. Branded entertainment, there's a lot of brand opportunities too. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless there. And then we basically act as these creators' platforms, and we take a platform fee as a part of how they choose to monetize. But that makes us aligned with them in terms of supporting them as they grow and become more successful.
Let's talk about the creator economy as a whole. I know this is like a buzz term right now. Although the new buzz term, of course, here at South by is Web3 and NFTs, right? Take a shot every time someone says that. So what does the creator economy mean to all of you, and where do you see it going?
Don't look at me. No, I'm an artist. I'm not really concerned about that. My nieces will explain that to me.
That makes sense. Well, you're a storyteller in the end, like.
I'm just going to be creative and do a show and have fun.
Exactly.
And then, that's what I do on Instagram. And then when I need to learn something, my nieces tell me I edit the stuff on Instagram. It's easy.
No TikTok dances for you anytime.
No.
Yeah, being a creator is hard. And depending on what platform you are, particularly social media platforms, it's nonstop. You literally are chained to your platform each and every day. Because people want replenishment of content. I always used to say, what's the definition of television? Definition of television is the best alternative to boredom. Now, what's the definition of social media or streaming? The best alternative to boredom. You're just on your phone, going through TikTok, Insta, YouTube, whatever it may be, just chilling, doing whatever, just killing time. And if you want to retain your audience, you've got to continually replenish your content. And that's hard. And it's also draining, and it's life-changing because you actually become your platform. Your life becomes chained to it, like you said, the hamster wheel. And again, to go back to Fireside, that's why we're trying to create new tools. Because if there's new ways to enable that content creation, if there's ways to reduce the time involved to produce and present, then you get a little bit of your life back. And I think on the other side, as consumers of content, we're looking for different things. We get connected to personalities, we get connected to shows, and they kind of become a habit. But even then, we tend to get bored with it very, very quickly. And so finding new ways to connect is critically important, and that's what we're hoping to do.
I think there's two really exciting things about the creator economy. The first is that it's really it's giving anyone the opportunity to build an audience and ultimately grow a business. So it's really sort of this wave of enabling creators to become entrepreneurs and really build the media and entertainment companies of the future. I think secondarily, from an audience perspective, this idea where you can now inform the kind of content you're interested in seeing more directly and perhaps even participate and be a part of it, I think that's game changing. And I think what that's going to result in is not just new forms of entertainment being invented, it's actually just more entertainment in general.
Better entertainment.
Better entertainment.
Yeah, how disruptive is Web3 to all of this? Let's talk about Web3 and what opportunities you think are going to emerge for traditional companies as well as new ones like yours.
You go first. Sales, let me just put it this way. Whether it's NFTs, whether it's picking a metaverse, whether it's knowing blockchain and what platforms you're going to use, the technology side is easy. The hard part isn't creating an NFT. The hard part is not, becoming part of a metaverse. The hard part is sustaining participation. So you can go to Decentraland and buy real estate and lose all your money. You can go to Sandbox and buy real estate and probably lose all your money.
You're not a fan of real estate in the metaverse, to be clear.
Only if you want to fuck up and lose all your money. And the reason I say that is, again, the hard part isn't, in real life real estate, they say location, location, location. The reason location is important because that's where the people are. And it's the same in the metaverse. You need to have people. You need to give them a reason to come and to come back. And if you're selling an NFT, the first sale is not the hard sale. It's when the people who buy first, they have a place to sell second in the secondary market and the tertiary market, so that there's people who keep on coming in the community to buy from the original buyers. That's what creates demand. That's what sustains community. That's what sustains the economy of a community. And the same thing applies to the metaverse. You can go buy Times Square in whichever metaverse you want, but if your Times Square is the one Times Square where no one shows up, you're still fucked, right? And so you've got to have a reason for people to come back. So when we talk about the metaverse and less so Web3. Web3 is just the technology, but the metaverse itself, if you're making decisions to participate, you've got to make determinations where you think the people are going to be and what activities are going to be going on and which of those are sustainable. Because in the history of metaverses and Second Life, and there's been others over the last couple decades, they end up being dominated by just a few people. Right? People come in and they make it their home and they own not necessarily own everything, but they control everything, or they shame the people they want out and they reward the people they want in. And so you've got to make sure you're in the right metaverse that has people, that has utility, that has a reason for people to stay, that has a reason for people to connect, and is welcoming to new people and wants to retain them. Now think about all those things I just said, and think about all the concepts and thoughts you've had about the metaverse. People are talking about the NFT side of it, and they're talking about the speculation side of it, but none of the sustaining and rewarding and ongoing communities. So I think those are the things we have to overcome for the metaverses to truly be real, because there's no barriers to entry. You put 6 people on a Zoom or on a virtual reality chat, and that's your metaverse. You've got to really be careful what you're getting into.
Yeah, and how does NFTs play into this? If creators are really taking their creativity and control and power back, right, from platforms with the NFT space, then how are you all going to take advantage of that?
So I think there's some really interesting trends that we're seeing in terms of use cases for leveraging the technology. So one is, enabling access to communities, which I think the Bored Apes have done really well in terms of, that was a benefit they rolled out later. They first started with sort of more of a collectible.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that as a trend that can be pretty powerful in not just sort of creating a market for that content, but also to be able to grow the connection within a community and create secondary value and beyond. I would say, additionally, we are seeing examples like Blau's company Royal, where they're using crypto to distribute ownership to their fans. I think that's a really interesting trend as well. And then in terms of reward tokens, we're seeing other platforms that are decentralized that are leveraging reward tokens to drive user behavior. DAOs, there's some interesting use cases there that are still kind of in the early phases of emerging. But I think it all comes down to, again, removing the middleman and enabling sort of new forms of business models to be unlocked.
I think what Bored Apes did by assigning the IP to the owner was brilliant. Mm-hmm. Probably the smartest thing I've seen done in crypto, because when you own your Bored Ape and you can create t-shirts and you can create movies, you can create clubs on your own, that's phenomenal, right? And that helps build an ecology and ecosystem that is different than you're going to be able to use any other IP off of crypto. And I think that's just a phenomenal use case.
What do you think about Yuga Labs? This is a bit of a trend, but I see this consolidation, right, of Yuga Labs acquiring CryptoPunks. Do you think we're going to see more of that?
Yeah, for sure. I know the folks doing that, and they're smart, and I think you're going to see a lot of consolidation. There's too many blockchains. Not all the blockchains
or too many NFT projects, too.
Yeah, too many NFT projects. They're not all going to survive. Most of them don't survive already.
What does Web3 media brands even look like in the future?
Web3 media brand, I think it could be, I think it can look a few different ways. I think it definitely allows the community to participate in the overall creative and the production process. I think that's one. I was in a conversation yesterday with a brand that actually was thinking about leveraging a DAO to help the community inform the products that they're even creating to begin with, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is, with a DAO or without a DAO, you can incorporate more people into what you're doing. You can test things far more easily. You can reach people, and it's more open-ended than you can with traditional media, because there's more gatekeepers in traditional media. And when I say that, I mean social media, TikTok being traditional media. You're not necessarily going to reach enough of an audience and allow them to participate, because what are you going to do on TikTok? Go through all the comments? And to try to determine that, have to reply to each and every comment to try to sustain your community. So I think using tokens, using rewards, using DAOs, there's a lot of ways to incorporate community into new forms of entertainment. And again, you can let it branch out like Bored Apes is doing, because if you have your community, making money and creating new content, that just builds your community. And so I think that inclusion is really powerful. And I think, in reference to inclusion, going into underserved communities and allowing them to be more creative and take control, because they typically don't have access to the agents and the lawyers that are required to do all the contracts and all that, and that complicates things. And using crypto as a platform is more wide open.
Yeah, Greg, I know you obviously are such an icon in the traditional entertainment and TV realm. Like, could you imagine we would come here to this space?
That was very nice of you to say.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like you were part of, like, we were talking about broadcasting backstage and just, like, the history kind of like, all these formats. What do you think about all these new formats popping up and, like, the future of late night and the future of...
Well, there are different thoughts, but it is very relaxing to be able to do things from your mahogany panel den when you don't have to commute to work. I wanted to say something, and tell me, Fallon, if this is right, because I am impressed with the Fireside app. I'm not joking now. I am impressed with it, and I don't know if they understand, when they download it, they will have their name and their picture of them if they want, and they can be in the audience. And you mentioned this quickly, but they can request to go up on stage of a show. Now, it doesn't mean they'll be accepted, but you can, if you are accepted, you can ask the host a question. That's very interactive, okay? The other thing I wanted to ask you was, Fi told me this, our friend Fi, because the app is so impressive, you can do your podcast on there, and she said you can take that, and if you have a YouTube channel, instead of using Zoom, you can use the Fireside app, which to me has more bells and whistles and interesting things. So that's correct, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's a big deal. You should push that. I mean, because it's such, these guys that do podcasts, they have all these cameras set up and they do all this stuff, but everything is all inclusive in the Fireside app.
Yeah, one place to create, distribute,
Right.
everywhere.
You're kind of glossing over that. I think that's important. I mean, it makes it very convenient to use.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing, to have like kind of a studio in your pocket.
Yes,
I think on the go.
exactly.
And also, I think that it takes a lot of money. I mean, my background is in like live streaming too, from like huge studios from my bedroom, right? And the idea to have that choice, I think, is really important in terms of accessibility, so that all talent can rise, right?
Well, and to just experiment and test new formats. Like today you'd have to get money up front to finance the production, to then do something. I mean, that's a lot of why I think we're seeing new formats get unlocked through our platform, because not only are they getting a place to innovate with their audiences, but then they're able to get feedback and analytics right away to then inform what they do next.
So, Mark, it seems like you're disrupting a lot, from sports, entertainment to healthcare. Check out the shirt. What does it say?
costplusdrugs.com.
Have you heard about this? Amazing work. I mean, why are these types of markets interesting to you?
Which market?
These types of markets.
Well, where there's disruption, there's opportunity. Where there's change, there's opportunity. I think, AI, crypto, and in particular smart contracts on crypto are both very disruptive. Fucking up the farm industry is always fun and disruptive.
Yes.
I'll give my little plug. If you haven't heard of costplusdrugs.com, go check it out. We've really just disrupted the industry to the point where we're able to buy now from manufacturers, cut out the middleman, and we sell everything at cost plus 15%, plus $3 for the pharmacy fulfillment, plus $5 for shipping. And so pretty much the drugs that we have, if we have yours, cost less than your copay. And if you don't have insurance, you're finally going to be able to afford it. So check out costplusdrugs.com. But generally, I think this is just I was around the early days of the internet, and it was insane, right? And it's a lot like what's happening with crypto, and in particular NFTs. Everybody would throw up a website. If you knew anybody who knew HTML, there'd be a 16-year-old kid who knew HTML, and that kid would be a genius, right? Because they knew HTML and then JavaScript. And so there were just projects popping up at 100 miles an hour, and some were going public, all were getting funded, just like NFTs now, and people would sell advertising and for hits, even though hits was a meaningless number. And the same thing is happening with NFTs in particular, and to a lesser extent, blockchains now. So there's a lot going on. You just have to walk around South by and you see it all, right? But we're already starting that second level of maturity. And so I think there are just some insane opportunities in entertainment and on the business side to use smart contracts and take decentralized applications. Leading in, there was reference on politics and everything. The idea of using a DAO is not only the most capitalistic approach to starting a company, but it's also the most progressive approach to starting a company, because you're able to allow everybody to participate, maybe not equally, but to actually participate, and to have everybody gain from the performance of the organization, the DAO. And that is so distinct from, starting a company and saying, okay, we're going to do an S Corp or, a PBC, whatever it is, out of Delaware. Now, everybody will be able to own part of it via tokens and participate and contribute intellectually and come up with smarter things. It's like a better version of a union working in managing and participating with the CEO of a company. And so we're in this unique period of time where now we just have to find new ways, right? The last year, and actually the last 4 years, NFTs have just been NFTs. You're just smart contracts on the blockchain. Now we're just seeing, people getting comfortable with minting them, and everybody and their brother's got an NFT, and you've got all this hype, and it's hard to tell the difference between the signal and the noise. But with Fireside and new approaches to incorporating community like DAOs, you have to start to come up with new approaches to entertainment. The idea of just, now the original idea of an NFT is, we're not on Ethereum, we're on Polygon. No, we're not on Polygon, we're on Tezos. No, we're not on Tezos, we're on Solana. No, we're not on Solana, we're on ADA, right? And so, whatever. So, we're getting that maturity right now in supersonic time. And so all of you out there that are involved in NFTs and looking for ways to participate, obviously, I love our platform, and the output of what we create can easily be made into an NFT. But at the same time, you have to start thinking about how do you make it work beyond just that first sale, because the first sale is hard enough, but the second and third, fourth sale is much harder, and I think there's so much change going on that the opportunity is insane.
Well, a lot of people are comparing it to the .com bubble,
Yeah.
right? Is it the same thing happening? Is
Yeah,
it going to
of course.
burst?
Yeah.
Is it going to pop?
Yeah, it already has.
It already has.
Yes, and look, Amazon's still around. There's a lot of great companies. eBay's still around. There are a lot of great .com created companies that are still around. But if you look at the NFTs, maybe we'll say, the punks, and we'll say Bored Apes and who knows what else, but there'll be 10, and they're collectors just like, there's certain artists whose work is, evergreen. But in terms of, you go on Twitter, and oh my God, my Twitter feed is just like upside down purple bored mutant ape friends. NFT, right? And it's just insane, and someone's trying to hype it and like, check out our community, and then they'll make a token with it too. I mean, does anybody really think that those are going to be sustainable and last? Hell no, right? And here, probably how many people here are selling NFTs? Okay, good.
Oh, wow.
All right, not so bad. Yeah.
How many people
Not as
have
many
one?
heads.
Handful.
How many people have an NFT? Okay.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, that brings up a different question, right? So you don't have to go out and just buy NFTs to have NFTs, right? The process, I encourage, how many people here have crypto wallets?
Wow.
Not even that many.
That's a lot.
Yeah, how many people do not have a crypto wallet?
It's the same amount almost.
Yeah, pretty much 50-50. Maybe.
Yeah.
I would encourage, so I will say this, whether it applies to entertainment, future business, whatever, get a crypto wallet, 100%. If you don't have a crypto wallet right now, you're like the person I had to deal with in 1995. Remember that Brian Gimbel thing that's still like a meme where he says, Katie, what's this internet thing I've been hearing about? Well, y'all are Brian Gimbel and Katie Couric if you don't have a crypto wallet, because it'll change all of e-commerce. It's going to change, because when you go to, there'll be a point in time when with Fireside, you'll have the Fireside app, and if there's an NFT required for a certain creator, we'll verify you, and you'll need that. You'll be going to websites, because it's a whole lot easier to buy something from a website by hitting a little connect button and connecting your wallet and buying it right there and then than going through Apple Pay or Google Pay and all the other nonsense. it's going to change everything. Everything. And if you are a creator, how many people are content creators? Okay, if you are a content creator and you don't understand crypto, you're fucked.
Why is that? Why do you
Because
think so?
the easiest way, so when you think of distributing content, it's just bits, right? It's just a digital file or a digital stream, and you encode it by sitting in front of your Snapchat app or your Instagram app or YouTube or whatever it may be, and then maybe you save it to a file, maybe you don't. But now you're dependent on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, whatever it may be, to be the distributor. When you go to crypto, you no longer have that dependency. There's so many different ways that you can mint a file or provide a stream using the crypto tools that are out there, that you can take more control of your own destiny and you can get paid immediately. Is there any social media platform for content creators where you think this is just amazing, I get all the money and I get to keep it?
No.
Hell no, right? That's why, A, we like Fireside, but B, and you don't get to keep all of it, but you get to create most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
I was just going to say, the way that we look at it from a Fireside perspective is consumerizing it to make it easier for
You to monetize it with your consumers,
and
right?
for people to auto-create wallets and all of that and be
Right.
able to access content. But
We need to help Craig get a wallet. Do you
Yeah,
have a
we do
wallet?
need to get credit.
I'm in
We're
the
gonna
process. I'm in the process.
Okay.
But there are people, you're saying the crypto wallet, but there are people that are investing fine traditionally in the stock market, and they're not interested in crypto, and you're saying still get a crypto wallet.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to buy the tokens, because part of the problem with the crypto universe, tokens create all this noise. Dogecoin to the moon, baby. Just lots of noise. And look, I like Dogecoin because it is like the gateway drug for crypto. Seriously. Like, I got my son in there, we're buying, I don't forget what it was now, $11 worth or $7 worth of Doge, because we were smart, we were early. It was like 9/10 of a cent, and we bought $7 worth. You can get into it, start understanding how the whole thing works for $2. You can create a MetaMask wallet and connect your bank account, or just get a friend, once you've created that MetaMask wallet, get a friend to send you, however much in Doge or whatever, so that you just have it and you can understand it. And when you go to a website that says Connect Wallet, you'll understand it. But as a content creator, being able to just say, put a Connect Wallet link, and then whatever it is you want to charge for your art, for your creation, whatever it is, it could be a textbook. It could be, a business book. It could be, educational, it could be a syllabus, it could be a course, it could be coursework. And you just hit a Connect Wallet and you can say it's 0.01 ETH or 1 Polygon Matic token, whatever it is you charge. They hit Connect and it goes right into your wallet. Boom. That's it. No 2.5% to Visa or Master charge, no chargebacks, no waiting. It just simplifies everything once you're in that world. And so if you haven't gotten a wallet, just download MetaMask. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass to figure it out at the beginning, just like in the early days of the internet. Literally, you had to have a dial-up modem. You had to have a TCP IP client. You had to have an ISP internet account. Shit that is long forgotten. We were still in that mode a little bit for crypto, but it will be forgotten. And those people who understand how to integrate into the creative approach, you're going to be way ahead of the game. And those people who don't are going to be, a meme with Katie Kirk and Brian Gumbel. Katie, tell me about this internet thing. Tell me about this crypto thing. You have to know it.
Well, then how do you see traditional companies integrating into it? I feel like while it's Wild Wild West / early adopter movement right now, feels like we're in a renaissance, but ultimately traditional media comes in. Can traditional media continue to innovate and be part of this in an authentic way, or will they ruin it?
No, you can do it, right? But the content's got to be good.
Yeah.
But it's just harder to be a gatekeeper in a crypto universe. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's why when you see artists talk about, like, I met a woman today, Sasha, who sells poetry. And she's been selling poetry for over a year now. She was early. But she just puts her poem in an NFT and some other things and adds some other features to it. And she sells them, and she can sell them herself. Now, there's other ways you can do the same thing without crypto, but you're always dependent on somebody else.
Yeah.
You can control your own destiny a whole lot more with crypto. You just got to understand crypto. Just like, there was a time when everybody would just create their own website and do everything, and then you would go out and use tools. Now, the tools are pretty much readily available and easy once you get the general understanding and feeling for crypto.
And as someone building out a platform, I think about all the different monetization options for creators that we're rolling out, from fan subscriptions, members, community memberships, to virtual goods, to premium features, and gamification, all of that. And if you think about the underlying technology and the power of it from a Web3 perspective, that cuts my timeline in being able to build
so much faster.
It's so much faster. It's like 18 months to just build everything I just said in a traditional manner, and then to leverage Web3, it's like a quarter of the time. And you actually are creating a market. There's a secondary market for all of it. So
yeah. And here's just one difference. For all of you who are creators, how many people are creators and not in crypto? Okay. How much royalties do you make on secondary sales of your work? I'll tell you, 0. Right? Whereas with a smart contract, something NFT based or digitally based using smart contracts, once it's resold and resold and resold, you can make whatever royalty you preset for that work of art or whatever it may be. I'm working with a textbook company because it's insane how college textbooks, the market for college textbooks is, right? Think about when you're in college, right? First, you get the class, you look at the price of the textbook, you have a heart attack, then you have to make the decision of, are you going to buy new or used, and then you have to decide where, and then you get through the course, and it's time to sell it, right? Because who wants to keep their marketing book? It's not like it's a keepsake at $250. And so then you have to decide where you're going to sell it, and you have to play all these games and ship it. Now, if you just turn that into an NFT, you could build a Kindle-like reader right into the NFT. You can make the reader check to make sure that the owner has the NFT so they don't just send off a copy of the file. And then when the author and publisher sells it to the students, when they're done they can sell it cheaper, first of all, because they're going to get paid a royalty on every resale. So after the class is over, you sell that NFT textbook to the next kid who wants to do it on an open marketplace, and the publisher and author get their 25, 30, 40%, 50%, whatever it is, and they keep on getting paid, which allows them to reduce the price of textbooks. That's just one application that smart contracts and the royalty option available enables. For you as content creators, you get the same opportunity. If you write poems and people, resell your poems, and it may only be $10. Hey, I love this poem. It's in my heart now. Shh, I even took a screenshot of it, but I'm going to sell it again. Well, Sasha gets paid each and every time you resell it. That's unique to content creators. That didn't happen before. And you have to be able to take advantage of that.
I saw the sensitive Mark come out in that moment.
I'm very sensitive.
This panel was all about the future. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. So I want from each of you to know what's next in terms of the future of media and entertainment from your perspective and where you're at. Craig.
Well, I'm actually stunned over the last, 15, 20 years, the popularity of podcasts. Because everyone said it's short attention span theater in the United States, but I watch these podcasts and they're hour long or more, and people watch this, and to me sometimes they're just completely goofing around. And when we did late night, we would have interviews, if it was a long interview, 6 to 8 minutes, and we want to keep it moving. We would pre-interview the guest, tell us about that time you went after the referee and he threw you out. How much have you been fined by the commissioner? And we want people's time is important. But I am a little surprised at the podcast. And I'm going to eventually do one. I have no clue what the future of any of this stuff is. I cannot make any of these predictions. I do what I think is funny and creative and what I enjoy, and then I just go from there. I didn't join Instagram until 2018, and I'm having a blast.
That shows that it has some sustainability also, right? What are you doing on Instagram? What type of stuff?
Well, what's your handle first? So
you have to promote your handle to everyone so they can follow you.
Mr. Craig Kilborn, Mr. Craig Kilborn.
Okay.
And what do? I show pictures of myself with my one martini a week. I do videos that they're actually kind of hard to describe. It'll be a song that I like. It'll transition into Cary Grant and then Grace Kelly and then Anthony Edwards dunking on somebody. I mean, it's a different, it's irreverent, but they tell me it's uplifting. It's about old films, jazz music, and the magic of crumbled blue cheese.
Love it.
Magical.
What about you, Mark? What does the future hold?
Well, I've talked a lot about some of that before, but I'll give you one related to sports.
Yeah.
I think how people follow sports teams is changing. When we grew up, you sat in front of the TV with your family and you watched your team. Now, fans, particularly the NBA, are fans more of the players, or as much the players as the teams. And so I think you're going to see the TikTokization or the red zonification of most sports. Not as a replacement or as an addition. So that if I'm an NBA fan, or let's just say I'm a Dallas fan of all sports, I'll be able to have an app that if there's a Luka shot or a dunk in a Mavs game or an important play, it'll automatically send that to me. But at the same time, the Texas Rangers are playing and somebody hits a home run, it'll send that to me. If I'm also an Anthony Edwards fan from the T-Wolves, if he makes a dunk, that'll send it to me. So you'll get, just like on TikTok, the things that you happen to have an interest in, they find you for your page. I think the same thing's going to happen with sports. So just like Red Zone, where it's only the important plays that are shown, I think the things that are important to the individual fan across all sports, across all players, across all teams, will have a continuous feed, because the goal won't be as much to have somebody watch an entire game. The goal will be to get them to consume as much of your sport and your team and your players as possible.
Well, didn't you launch NFT too for the Mavs? Or
Yeah, we did.
yeah.
We did.
What did you learn from that?
Well, what we did it differently. So what we said was, anybody who comes to a Mavs game with a ticket they bought from our partners, and they scan before the end of the first quarter, you can go to mavscollectibles.com, log in, and we will give you a free NFT. And that NFT has been for a Mavs legend, like we had Dirk, Jason Terry, Jimmy Jackson, etc. But we made it free because I wanted to reward people for coming to our games. I didn't want to sell NFT to fans, because if you pay $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 or more for an NFT and that value goes down, then that impacts the brand, that impacts how you feel about the Dallas Mavericks, and to me that's a negative. But on the flip side, because we gave it to people for free and we're having thousands of people now who are collectors, they're now buying from people who may not be full collectors the games they couldn't go to, and people who are buying $18 tickets are selling their NFTs for $50, $75, $100, $400. And so there's this ecology, this whole ecosystem has been created as well, and it's worked out really well.
And just quickly before I go to you, Fallon, and you might have an answer to this too. I saw, as YouTube came in and traditional media all launched their own profiles and channels. How do you see traditional media playing into this space too in that way?
I mean, I think Fallon hit on it with using the interactivity, the participatory nature of crypto or Fireside to be able to learn more from your audience.
Community, yeah.
Yeah, and your community. So I think community is really a differentiating factor of what's going on with media, with Fireside, what's going on with crypto. Yeah. I've produced movies in the past and we weren't very good at it. But it used to be something you called P&A, where you'd spend a whole lot of money and just spray and pray and hope you got people into theaters and that you would make money. And now just everything is changing. You have to build community first. You have to integrate and you have to talk to your community and get feedback. But that allows you to be smarter.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if, in the earliest phases, you could like a rights holder, like let's say a Netflix, could detect that a Squid Games is likely to go viral and be able to sort of own the relationship building of their subscriber base through companion content, through after shows, and then help actually take that piece of content and help take it viral through distributing it out.
A lot of this has been in gaming forever.
Yeah.
But it really now is just extending itself into these other platforms.
Yeah, I mean, is every TV show going to have a Discord chat?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I think that's my answer to what the future is there's going to be the second screen experience. I think is going to change. It's going to be less so of Twitter, and I think it'll be more so if you're actually participating in it in some fashion.
Well, yeah, right. So two different things, right? Discord is when it's not actually happening, right? So they're not actually broadcasting. And then hopefully Fireside, while you're actually doing the podcast and you're watching Greg, have his one martini while you're, what kind of cheese?
Crumbled blue cheese.
cheese. I
Crumbled
remember
blue
this,
cheese,
yeah.
crumbled blue cheese plus a martini, hopefully not at the same time. But you being able to cheer or ooh or ah in all of his unique emojis. Swoon.
Have a drink with him.
Have a drink with them, right?
Yep.
And so that type of participation, I think, is going to dramatically change where we go.
Okay, well, on that note, that is it. This panel has been amazing. Do you have any final words?
I have a question for Mr. Cuban. This is serious.
Of course.
It's an NBA question, and it's serious. Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, they are the new co-owners of the Timberwolves. They have looked me in the eyes and promised me they will not move the team. Obviously, they have to build a new arena. As an owner, you can vote that down. Are the Wolves going to stay in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think the Wolves stay in Minnesota.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Okay, there you go. Thanks so much, Craig Gilborn, Mark Cuban, Ellen Timmy. Check out Fireside, the app. Have a great rest of your South by Southwest. Enjoy the show. Thanks so much for being here, everyone.